Welcome. In front of me I have the HONOR Magic7 Pro, and I'll go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device and its specifications. So let's just get straight into it. We do have two seals, Samsung style at the back. That's an interesting looking device. Okay, so that's everything that we get in the box. Kind of disappointing in terms of what's provided. Now, in terms of this device and its specifications, and probably the first thing that you'll notice when you take it out is the feel of it. It has some substantial heft to it, and it does fit in hand pretty nicely because of the curved everything. So the back kind of molds right here into the frame. It does feel pretty nice, so you don't feel any kind of sharp edges digging anywhere. That is actually a pretty nice kind of thing to have in a device. But anyway, let's talk about the display, which is a 6.8-inch display with a resolution of 1280 by 2800 pixels. It's a LTPO OLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR Vivid. So I suppose that's probably a certification. Have Dolby Vision, which is a certification, and a peak brightness of whopping 5000 nits. We also have 89.9% screen to body ratio, which is pretty good, and 453 pixels per inch with a nano crystal shield, or at least that's what they're calling the display right here, or the glass covering the display. So display wise here, top notch. Now, if we flip it over to the back, we have a quad camera setup. I'm not sure if that's a camera or not. I guess I'll find out in a second. So we have a 50 megapixel, have 1.4 to 2.0 aperture, 24mm wide lens. Then we got a astonishing 200 megapixel f2.6 aperture, 72mm periscope telephoto. So that's going to be definitely this one right here. And next, another 50 megapixel f2.0, 12mm 122 degree ultra wide, and that's about it. I don't see a third lens right here. Now, with those cameras you can record videos at 4K up to 60 frames, 1080p gets you also 60 with slow motion up to 240, and then at the front in this disgusting Apple-like looking thing, we have a 50 megapixel f2.0 aperture, 21mm wide lens with a time of flight 3D depth sensor next to it. And with that selfie you can do also 4K 60, 1080p 60. Camera wise, obviously phone is pretty decked out, though that look right here. We are far enough into the development of different technologies that I genuinely just despise any phones that still in 2024 or 5 are releasing phones with notches, hole punches and stuff like that, as we have devices like this one right here. Now that might be actually a little bit harder to see. Let's just turn on light mode, if I can quickly find it. There we go. You can see it right now. There is literally no hole punch camera right here visible. That's because the device has an under display camera, something that I personally feel like it's fantastic to utilize, as it gives you this nice unobstructed display. But for some reason manufacturers don't want to jump on that bend. Now there is a limitation to it. Photos don't look as good as without it, because they do need to shine through pixels or see through the pixels. So it has a bit of a limitation, but honestly, if more companies would jump on the bandwagon, there's a chance that they might actually figure out how to do it better instead of sticking with this disgusting looking thing. So anyway, let's move over to the internals. So we have a 5850 mAh battery that can be charged up to 100 watts or 80 wirelessly, which is pretty insane. The device comes with a newest Snapdragon device, being the Snapdragon 8 Elite, highest end, newest one. 12 gigs of RAM at base entry with 256 gigabytes of storage, being UFS 4.0 storage type. Now you can spec it up pretty insanely up to 1 terabyte of storage and 16 gigs of RAM. An absolute overkill for a phone, but you can if you want to. Now, anything else that I didn't mention right here? Probably not. So let's talk about the build quality now, as I am done with the internals. So build wise, we have what looks to be glass back, but I'm gonna make sure if it's actually, yep, it says glass back. So we have glass back, aluminum frame, glass front obviously, under display fingerprint sensor, power button and volume rockers on the upper right side. At the top we have our IR blaster, that comes included, pretty interesting. Microphone, speaker grills along with antennas. Then on the left side we have more antennas, and at the bottom we have our SIM tray. This is just a SIM tray, no expandable storage. Microphone, charging port, more antennas and more speakers, and that's about it. Now this device will run you a pretty penny, being at about listed on gsmarena.com, which is where I'm getting this info. It's listed at nearly 1,100 pounds. And knowing Honor and considering that this is basically a flagship device, this is most certainly accurate, so I don't even need to back check this, as they do have pretty expensive devices considering this is Honor. It seems like Huawei decided to pretend like Honor is separate just because they need the processors like Snapdragon 8 Elite. So they're still maintaining the egregiously expensive price tag for what is basically a Chinese spyware, to be completely honest. So yeah, it's pretty expensive for what it offers, I would still say. The reason I'm saying that is because you have options like, for instance, Samsung or iPhones, which will offer, in terms of performance and picture quality, as you're most likely getting this for picture quality, about the same kind of experience. At this point, at flagship prices, it's more up to preference, which one you like more. While both alternatives, the Samsung and iPhones, having an actual brand reputation behind it, and let's just say a little bit more brand trust. So probably might be a better alternative to go for those rather than a Honor device if you're looking for such a thing, meaning flagship device that takes good photos. But if you're maybe like in China or somewhere around that and this is your option, and maybe you also have a better price tag on it, either one of those would obviously make this a better alternative, I would say, considering if you have to pay more for an iPhone or Samsung while still basically getting the same kind of experience. But anyway, hopefully this video explained my perspective on this device and also the specifications pretty well, and if I did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.